So the first one is drawing the boundary of the stairs. The next is to draw the individual risers, and then to specify the stair path. So first we must specify our boundary. Again, we have the typical draw panel. I'm just going to use my line tool for this. I'm going to draw a line of 40 to 50. And you'll see at the bottom of the line, it says 0 risers created, 18 remaining. So I've just drawn one boundary to the flight. I need to draw the other side. So a quick way, I'm just going to offset it over by 1,000. So there we have both boundaries to the stairs. So next now we must draw in the risers to the stairs. So we then toggle over to our riser. And again, we have the draw panel. We have our options bar. So I'll draw in the first riser. First thing you'll notice is the color difference. So the boundary lines are green, the riser lines are black. Next, I'm going to offset that riser line up by 250. And create my run. You can notice every time I'm creating a riser line down the bottom corner here, it's displaying how many I've created and how many are remaining. So there's the boundary to my stairs and the individual risers. It's very important not to get those two lines mixed up because the software won't know what you're trying to create. So the last step is to specify the stair path. Just click on the center and run it up. The direction of the run is important because once it's created, we're able to change the direction of the stairs quite easily. Green tick to finish. And we're still in the editor mode, so green tick again to finish. And there it is, our stairs. You'll notice that the rating will automatically generate whenever we create stairs. If you're not happy with the direction, just select the stairs. And there's the flipping arrow, and it'll flip it the opposite direction. So like all of the components, these stairs are just types. So we can change the stair type by selecting the actual stairs, going to the type selector, and we have some defaults there from Autodesk. So if I change it from a private stairs to a concrete stairs, as well when we're creating stairs in the properties section there, we have to specify the desired number of risers. We can up the tread depth if needs be. And also we can specify the tread riser start number. So if we have a multi-story building with multiple stairs, we can then change the start number here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create our own U-shaped stairs. We're going to do that by using the stair by sketch. And I throw it to follow on. So we use our stair tool. We're going to click on create sketch. First, we're going to place our boundary. So we'll use our line tool to start, click to get it started, enter in a distance of 2,000. So that was one of our runs. We will now offset that up by 1,000. So the distance between them are 1,000. The length is 2,000. I'm going to offset it up now by 100. So offset it on the upper side by 100. And again, offset by 1,000. So here we have one run. We'll create our landing here and the next run. So for the landing, it's important that we actually use two separate lines for the boundary. So for the landing itself, I'm going to start off at the end of the flight. Click, come at it by 1000. Click, up 2100. Click, and attach it to the bottom of the flight. Again, the reason I didn't do that as one continuous line is the software needs to know where the break is because they're obviously two separate angles. We're going to create our risers here, landing, and then risers again. So we need to close off this boundary section here because this will be our landing space. So last boundary line and close it off. So the dimensions of the stairs, that's 2000, that's 1000. This here is 2100, 2000. Spaced at 1000, that's 100, and that's 1000. Next one is the riser. So change it over to the riser using the line from each one. So I'm going to offset again by 250. And just to save some time, I'm going to select one, hold down Control and select the other. So both are highlighted. Use my copy tool, turn on multiple, select the previous riser as my start point, click, and my end point is the next riser. And I can continue on clicking, making sure I'm getting that square symbol, meaning that it's a snapping point, and finish. So there we have our risers going up the stairs, our landing, and risers again. Last is to specify our stair path. Start on our flight, and then follow a line across the landing. Again, then a stair path, like so. And then I'm going to use my trim and extend just to tidy up those lines. So you can see it in the bottom there, I've got 18 risers created, 0 remaining. Green tick to finish. Now I'm still inside the modifier. What I can do further modifications again, I can just select the stairs. And in here, I'm able to change the constraints, the construction. So whether or not it begins with the riser, ends with the riser, and then some additional information as well. Finally, this is the green tick to finish. Go to the 3D view. There's the stairs. Again, we can select the stairs and using the flipping arrow. So if you go back to the ground floor, you can select it, we got the arrow, there we can flip the direction. All we need to do is we need to select our stairs and want to change the stair type. So once the stairs are selected, go to the type selector, choose the in situ concrete. So we're just going to place it. So open up our ground floor. The location of the stairs will be at this point here. If you open up PDF 012 stair location, first thing I need to do is to rotate the stairs. So clicking on the stair itself, the rotate tool, my start point, and finish. And using my move tool, snapping to the top left-hand corner, dragging it over, and hitting the upper right-hand corner of that column. Now we go to my 3D view. There is my stair. The next we just need to extend out that landing so we can reach the top of our stairs. So we'll go to our first floor plan. Zoom in. If we select our floor, go to Edit Boundary. If you open up the PDF 013 landing, you'll see the dimensions for the landing itself. So just to get started, again, we're just going to draw an inline. Not sure of the dimensions, but it's best for us to draw it in quickly. We can just trim it up. And then afterwards, we can then specify the correct dimensions. So first things first is the 1700. So just make sure that your temporary dimensions are actually snapped onto the correct lines. And we can change the 1700. And 1500. So now that we're happy with that, green tick to finish. So next what we need to do is to place a rating around the balcony. So remaining in the first floor plan, when we go back to our architecture tab, circulation panel, and there's the rating tool. So select the rating tool. And what I'm going to do is use the line tool and add in an offset of 100. I'm just going to draw a line around the boundary to create the rating. Now, when I do, I'm going to stop at this column. The reason being, if I then draw another line like so, they are two separate lines. So if I try to finish, I can't do that. So it must be, again, one continuous line. So I'll draw that one line, green tick to finish, and there's my rating. We'll draw another rating on the opposite side of the column. Green tick to finish. Go into the 3D view, and there's the rating. So that rating there is a default again by Autodesk, so we can of course change that. If we select it, we can go to our type selector, and there's 4 different options that we can choose from. Of course, we can make our own. So what we're going to do now is we are going to create our own rating. So how we do that is we will select the default rating. Just make sure you're on the 1100 rating provided by Autodesk, so just so we're all on the same start point. We'll then go to edit type. We're going to leave the type properties for this one. I'm not going to make any changes here. We are going to select duplicate. And I'm going to give it a name of new rating 1100 millimeters. And press OK. So once we have created a new type, we can start to edit the structure of the rating. So under the construction heading here, we have the first one, which is rail structure. In the valued section there, we'll click on edit. That will bring up the edit rails. So to get a preview of what we're doing, down the bottom left-hand corner is the preview button. So we'll select that, and there's our rating. Then what we're going to do is going to insert a couple of new ratings. I will click on insert, and there's our new rating. To get a preview of what we've inserted, we'll press apply. Again, that's just a default profile. So what we'll do is we'll give that a name of bottom rail. So the next column here is the height of that rail. So right now it's set to 0, so standard base. If I change that to say 500, clicking apply, so it will go up the y-axis by 500. The next column is the offset, and the offset is referring to the movement along the x-axis. So if I type in 100, we'll go to the right. If I add a negative figure to that, it will go to the left. The next column is the actual profile itself. So it's set to the default, which is a 50 by 50 rating. If you scroll down to the handrails, there we have a circular 30, circular 40, elliptical, rectangle, and square. So I'm going to give you good guidance on how to create this, but it's up to you what you choose. There's no right or wrong. Now for this rating, what I'm going to do is have one bottom rail at a height of 90, 0 offset, and the handrail at 50 by 50. Press apply, and that's my rating down the bottom. I'm going to insert a new rating and call it top rail. The height will be 1000, and I'll be the same profile. Press apply. So the last column is the material. This is something I'm not going to go into much detail now. So now that we've created our horizontal rails, we can now press and apply, press OK, and we're back to our type properties. Next we have our baluster placement. Again, clicking on edit. So the first heading here, we have the main pattern. So it's that main pattern of what we have. That's currently set to the 25 mil square. And the distance between them is 275. So if we were to go into the baluster family heading there we have a few different options. Square 25, 20 mil round 25, steel flat wide upright, and a glazed panel. We can of course create our own and import these into this library and select them at a later date, because that's not something we'll do at the moment. So for the purpose of this project, I'm just going to select the steel flat upright 50 by 12. So if I press apply, so this column here is the base. So it's set to host. If I hit the little arrow, I've got a few options. I can go to the top rail, which is the one that we created just now. Again, bottom rail, which we just created, with the top rail element, which is that section there. So for the base, I wanted to start from the bottom rail. Press apply, and you'll see it will jump up to the bottom rail. If you wanted, we can add in an offset. You'll see it's offset up from that bottom rail. I'll be about 0. Again, same for the top. I want to go up to the top rail with a top offset of 0. And we want to have 90 mil for the distance between each. Next, below that, we have the few different options for the stairs. So do we want to use the baluster per tread on the stairs? How many balusters do we want per tread and so on? So we can change that here. We can also change the baluster family type. And then down below, we have the posts. So we have the start post, corner, and end. So there's our start post, there's our end post, and the quarter post. So if we have two ratings joining together, what post do you want to be displayed? So I'll leave them as is. Again, we've got the base host, offset, ratings, again, same properties as above. And press OK. Back into the type properties. A couple of parameters that we can change. If we come down to our top rail heading, do we want to use the top rail? Yes. What is the height? What is the type? And we can add in some additional data as well. So I'm happy with that, but press OK. There's our new rating. To change over the other rating, again, we'll just select it, go to our type selector, and change it over to the new one. And for the stairs, again, we can select the rating, change it over,